Let's get started with today's Monday morning message. Today, I want to be speaking about suffering the past. What do you think? What's the main reason that we suffer the past? What do you think? Why do we suffer the past? Let's understand the science a little bit, and then we'll talk about how to also deal with how to deal with healing the past in some way. But what do you think? Let's first understand what makes us suffer the past. Why do we suffer the past? Whether it's a financial loss, whether it's a breakup that we went through in a relationship, whether it's something that we wanted and we suffer it. What is the science of suffering? Why do we suffer the past? Firstly, let's get that. So, layer 1, you will see all of the suffering in the past. All of the suffering of the past is rooted in one thing. We have a certain expectation and things did not go as per our expectation. We had a certain expectation and things did not go as per our expectation, and hence we are suffering the past. But that's just layer 1. Let's understand this a little deeper, a little further. Stay with me. Folks, anytime we set an expectation, a mental projection through our mind, there is only 4 outcomes possible. Anytime you create a plan, you set an expectation, there is only 4 outcomes possible. There is no 5th outcome outside this. So what are the 4 outcomes? The first outcome is things go better than you expect. You have a certain expectation and things will go better than you expect. The second outcome is things go worse than you expect. You have a certain expectation and things went further worse than what you expected. The third outcome is things go as you expect. You expect a certain thing and the thing goes exactly like that. You expect a certain situation, things go exactly like that. And the fourth outcome is things go exactly opposite of what you expect. So for example, you expect to win a lottery for $1,000. Things go better than you expect. You won a lottery of $1,500, better than what you expect. You expect to win a lottery of $1,000 and things go worse than you expect. You got $500. It went worse than what you expected. You expected a lottery of $1,000 and you got exactly $1,000. Things went as you expected. And then things go the opposite that you expect. You were expecting a lottery of $1,000 and you had to pay out of your pocket $1,000. You didn't get $1,000, but you were fined $1,000 and you had to pay $1,000. So you see, any expectation, there's only 4 outcomes. These 4 outcomes. So suffering of the past is, the layer 1 is when things go not as you expect. But then if you go a little deeper, it's not just about when things go as you not expect, but it's about when things go lower or opposite of what you expect. Because if you expect $1,000 and things go better than that, or things go exactly that, then you don't suffer the past. We suffer the past only when things go worse than what we expect or the opposite of what we expect. Now, after having understood when we suffer the past and what are the things that we suffer the past from, it's when things don't go as per our plan and they go worse or the opposite. What happens? How does the mental framework work? A certain situation has passed. It went worse or the opposite of what we expect. And now, when do we suffer it? There might be pain in that moment, but why is there suffering in the presence of the past? That's because we keep telling ourselves over here in this 3/4 inch of a box a story. And we keep repeating the story of how it could have, should have, would have, how it should have been, how it should have been, and we keep repeating that story. Oh, I wish I would have done this, I wish I would have done this. We keep repeating a story of that situation and how we can alter it. We keep focusing on what did not work. Yes or no? See, there are situations that have been in our life where things did not go as we expect. Things went worse than we expect, but we don't suffer those. You know why we don't suffer those? Because we don't continue the story in our head of how we could have changed it. Because we let it go. But there are only certain situations that we are suffering right now. Whether it's a breakup, whether it's a financial loss. And it's because we are repeating the story continuously in our head of how we could have changed it. Have you noticed this? For example, you got a cake that you wanted to eat and the cake fell down. Maybe you're not suffering it right now because you don't repeat the story in your head. Oh, I wish I would have held the cake this way, that way, etc., etc. But maybe you bought a new pen and the pen got lost and now you suffer the loss of the pen. What's the difference? The difference is that you're repeating the story of the pen in your head and you're not repeating the story of the cake in your head. Right? So things don't go as we expect and go worse than we expect, and now we're repeating the story. That is why we're suffering the past. So in order to suffer the past, you have to continuously create the past in your head. I have to continuously create the past in my head to even suffer it. Because if I don't continue the creation of the past in my head, I will not suffer it. So it's really maybe an unconscious, but a creation nonetheless that we continue. Am I making sense so far? I know it's a little deep. I'm glad you're staying with me. So, suffering the past happens when things go lower or opposite of what we expect. And then it continues in the present is because we run a certain story in our head. We keep it alive by thinking of what we could have done, focusing on what did not work. Now we come to how to alter it, how to change it. How can we maybe reduce the suffering from the past in the present? How can we do that? And one big tool that I have and I want to share with you is, when we are suffering the past, we're focusing on what did not work. What did not work? But instead, if we just shift our focus a little bit and we start focusing on how we have grown from that painful incident in the past, slowly we will notice that the suffering starts shifting. Let me give you an example. I have a very dear friend of mine, and she went through a very rough breakup. She went through a very rough breakup with a boyfriend at that point, and she was suffering immensely. She kept telling herself, she was wondering, what is it that went wrong? How could have I changed it? Why did it not work? She kept focusing on all the things that did not work, what she could have done, all the plans that they had and the plans that did not work out. And then someone shared with her and she did an exercise. She sat down and started writing all the ways that she is thankful for the growth that relationship brought her. And when she started writing, you know what she came up with? She came up with things like, wow, now I have grown as a person and I know my worth. Now I have grown as a person and I know what not to tolerate in a relationship. Now I have grown as a person and know when not to succumb and be confident in my stance. She grew in such ways because she thought that in the past she kept twisting and turning too much and hence causing herself pain. And now, after this painful experience, she said, I now realize my worth. I now know what to stand up for in a relationship and not to tolerate anything and everything when I'm not treated correctly. And slowly, her suffering elevated because she started focusing and seeing, okay, wow, I have grown as a person. This pain has brought me growth. So what changed is not the incident, but the story she told herself. Initially, she was telling herself all the stories keeping the suffering alive by telling the story in our head, and literally after focusing on the growth, the story changed and hence the suffering elevated. So folks, I know it's super deep for today, but I hope this helps. Suffering the past. How can we, when do we suffer something in the past? Is when things go worse or opposite of what we expect. And then we continue a story in our head, keeping it alive. When we change the story and focusing on how we grew from the past, we can elevate suffering from the past.
Thank you so much for joining us, Cassandra. You have such a pretty background too.
Thank you.
Cassandra, what do you think about suffering from the past? And I know you're somebody who enjoys music, and that's probably a great way to heal as well for somebody who's suffering. What do you think about suffering the past?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think for artists in general or musicians, it's kind of, natural to have some experiences when it comes to suffering from the past. And these experiences are literally very good for songwriting, because if we wouldn't have such experiences, we, wouldn't write about the really deep things in life. It would be like, oh, the sun is beautiful, and the sky, and I am someone who really enjoys to create a special feeling when it comes to it, like expressing thoughts and feelings of mine, like a diary when it comes to songwriting. So it definitely belongs to me, all the bad experiences.
Wow. It's amazing that you use all the suffering almost as a fuel to make you more creative and to, further enhance your performance. So that's so amazing.
Yeah.
Cassandra.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
I mean, it's still like what you said, that it's constantly created in the mind in the present time, but the songwriting or like the thinking about it, also can help to develop some positive mind change, if you know what I mean. My first one, which I'm going to play, is called My Inner Peace. It's actually a breakup song, and a very personal kind of. And in the chorus, there's some Hindi phrase. So.
Oh wow! So it's a song. It's a breakup song, personal breakup song. Thank you for sharing that with us. And there's a Hindi phrase in the song. I'm excited to listen to some Hindi right now. Awesome.
Okay. Every time I smile at you, you turn your head and walk away. And I'm not sure if it's just a game that you like to play, but I'm sure I don't wanna join in. And you think I'm gonna come back to you, but I'm stronger as you might think. There's nothing to do, and I think I need you, and that's why I sing all the time. मुझे तुम्हारी ज़रूरत नहीं है. That means I don't need you. मुझे तुम्हारी ज़रूरत नहीं है. That means I don't need you. I know you've got your problems, and I must admit that I felt sorry for you. So you can't put me under pressure and let me cry. can break my heart again, don't even try. You think I'm gonna come back to you, but I'm stronger as you might think. There's nothing to do, and I think I don't need you, and that's why I sing all the time. मुझे तुम्हारी ज़रूरत नहीं है, that means I don't need you. मुझे तुम्हारी ज़रूरत नहीं है. And I'm so glad that I made this decision. It took 3 long years, and I'm so glad that it's not just a mission. Now my inner peace seems crystal clear. मुझे तुम्हारी ज़रूरत नहीं है, मुझे तुम्हारी ज़रूरत नहीं है. That means I don't need you. मुझे तुम्हारी ज़रूरत नहीं है. It means I don't need you. मुझे तुम्हारी ज़रूरत नहीं है.
Wow. Wow, that was an original composition, lyrics, chorus, Cassandra Mae. I have to say, I am super impressed.
Thank you.
Especially, like, to be honest, like, your pronunciation of Hindi is also very spot on. It is so spot on. It's unbelievable.
Wow.
Wow. It seems like you really actually invested in, delving into the language or the culture that you, want to sing about, because the pronunciation just shows the amount of probably practice and the work you've put in. So awesome to see that. Cassandra Mae, I know you have another song prepared for us. Would you like to share that and tell us a little more?
Yes, that's right. So this song is called We Need to Understand, and it's definitely also kind of personal, but it also has a general topic of world hunger. So many people, like more than 800 million people on the world, are suffering and have been suffering from hunger. And I just want to create this awareness with this song, because it's also an experience which I made while like fasting. So that's why this song came to life, kind of. And it contains it contains a Sanskrit mantra in
Wow.
And yeah, I don't know how many are familiar like with the actual meaning of it, but it means like may all beings live on this world in peace and harmony. So
Wow. Let's hear it.
okay. You woke up in the middle of the night. Your dreams were still the same. You couldn't think straight even if you tried. So many things you wanted to blame. You say that being hungry is like taming wild and deadly animals in a way. But I'll never know how you must feel every day. We need to understand that we always have enough. Although we might think that we will never have enough, we need to understand that we're always craving while others are starving. Loka samasta, loka samasta, sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta, sukhino bhavantu. I can feel the resignation in your eyes. You don't seem to be alive. Nobody can imagine your hunger cries, and nobody can imagine that you really need to survive. And you say if you're hungry, it's like taming wild and deadly animals in the way. But I'll never know how you must feel every day. We need to understand that we always have enough. Although we might think that we will never have enough, we need to understand that we're always craving while others are starving. Loka samasta, sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta, sukhino bhavantu. We take your energy, we throw it away. We make you feel dizzy, we make you pray. We wanna make sure you suffer every day, but I think that should be our way. Loka samasta, sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta, sukhino bhavantu. I think that should be your way. I think that should be our way.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Cassandra Mae, you infused the Sanskrit mantra into the song Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Wow, wow, that is too good. That is too impressive. And how you fuse certain language, a whole different language in the chorus with it, and making the song seem so seamless. But I gotta say, you really have such a you're kind of a force by yourself with the intention. When you sing, there's an intensity in your lyrics and in the way you are in your energy, and that really creates a certain force. No wonder that's brought you so much success already at the age of 18.
Wow, thank you. Like, actually, I'm myself kind of surprised that it works so well in this early morning hour kind of things. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to sound arrogant though. It's just I'm surprised myself. So
Yeah. It's amazing. Sometimes the early morning hours are the best hours to be creative and to create. Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Cassandra Mae, thank you so much for joining us at such an early morning hour, sharing your energy with us. And I have to say, I'm also impressed. You mentioned that, you're blind, but you navigating this whole thing, being so responsive, having the Instagram live set up perfectly with like absolutely no technological glitches. I am just super impressed with you as a human being. So thank you so much for your energy, your time, and the amount of effort that you put in to come live with us today morning.
Thank you also. Like, it was a pleasure.
Great. All right. Tschüss. That's about the German I know. Bye-bye. I will. Bye. I hope to see you soon.
Yeah. See you.
See you.
Folks, wow. Cassandra Mae is a force by herself, and she's got a force because of not some brute muscle, etc., but because of the intensity she shares in her music. That was beautiful. Suffering the past, we learned the science of it, on why we suffer the past. And then Cassandra Mae came and shared some songs with us on how you can find your inner peace, you can grow from all the suffering. Folks, that is it from my side this Monday. I know it was a little deep. I'm so happy you stayed on. Much love to you all. Cheers. I will see you next Monday, same time, same location, with a whole new message to make us a better communicator and to help us operate a little better and more consciously in the way we go about things as a life. Cheers. Much love. I'm always happy to be here live Monday 9 a.m. India time with you guys, sharing a new message. And I can't wait to continue that.